Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's cooperative experience to be key tool to transform cooperations into a 21st century global movement, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi urges the opposition to allow Parliament to function smoothly. Connectivity to be at the core of India-Mediterranean engagement, says the country's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in Rome. And in cricket, Captain Jasprit Bumrah steers India to its biggest test win on Australian soil. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the ICA Global Cooperative Conference 2024 in New Delhi. With the theme Cooperatives Build Prosperity for All, the conference aligns with India's Sahkar Se Samriddhi vision. The Prime Minister also launched the UN International Year of Cooperatives 2025, themed Cooperatives Build a Better World. He also unveiled a commemorative postal stamp symbolizing India's commitment to the cooperative movement. Addressing the event, the Prime Minister said that India's experiences will provide new tools of the 21st century and spirit to the global cooperative movement.
ग्रामीण भारत के करीब 98% हिस्से को कोऑपरेटिव्स कवर करती हैं। करीब 30 करोड़ 300 मिलियन लोग यानी हर 5 में से एक भारतीय सहकारिता सेक्टर से जुड़ा है। शुगर हो, फर्टिलाइजर्स हो, फिशरीज हो, मिल्क प्रोडक्शन हो, ऐसे अनेक सेक्टर्स में कोऑपरेटिव्स की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है।
Prime Minister Modi said that India is following the mantra of prosperity through cooperation.
सहकारिता ने विचार से आंदोलन, आंदोलन से क्रांति और क्रांति से सशक्तिकरण तक का सफर किया है। साथियों, आज भारत में हम सरकार और सहकार की शक्ति को एक साथ जोड़कर भारत को विकसित बनाने में जुटे हैं। हम सहकार से समृद्धि के मंत्र पर चल रहे हैं।
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says that the new element of the relationship between India and the Mediterranean would be connectivity, emphasizing that the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor can be a game changer.
The IMEC, the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, that was announced in September 2020, can be a game changer. The conflict underway currently in the Middle East has undoubtedly been a major complication, but it is proceeding, the IMEC is proceeding ahead on the eastern side, especially between India and the UAE and Saudi Arabia. I also flag your attention to the I2U2 grouping of India, Israel, UAE and the US, expect it to be more active in times to come.
In his opening remarks at the MED Mediterranean Dialogue Conference in Rome on Monday, the minister highlighted the growing significance of connectivity in global relations, especially in the context of the ongoing conflict in West Asia and its impact on the region.
India unequivocally condemns terrorism and hostage-taking. It also regards large-scale civilian casualties in military operations to be unacceptable. International humanitarian law cannot be disregarded. In immediate terms, we should all support a ceasefire. India has also extended relief directly and through UNRWA.
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met with his British counterpart David Lammy in Rome on Monday. Minister Jaishankar appreciated the enduring momentum in the India-UK Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Along with ongoing developments in the Indo-Pacific and West Asia, the two ministers discussed cooperation in technology, green energy, trade and mobility. Minister Jaishankar is on a 3-day visit to Italy, where he will also take part in the outreach session of the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting. The winter session of India's Parliament commenced on Monday but faced early disruptions, leading to the adjournment of both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The lower house, or the Lok Sabha, was adjourned minutes after Speaker Om Birla read the obituary reference, and the House paid a silent tribute to the departed souls. Opposition members also created a ruckus in the Rajya Sabha, demanding a discussion on the Adani indictment issue, leading to adjournment. Both the houses will remain adjourned till 11 a.m. local time on the 27th of November. The third session of the 18th Lok Sabha and the 266th session of the Rajya Sabha will see the introduction of at least 16 bills. These include the Muslim Waqf Repeal Bill 2024 and the Waqf Amendment Bill. Apart from the Waqf Amendment Bill, 5 bills are listed for introduction and passing in both Houses of Parliament. The 5 new bills include a Merchant Shipping Bill, Coastal Shipping Bill, Indian Ports Bill, Punjab Courts Amendment Bill and the Rashtriya Sahakari Vishwavidyalaya Bill. The session will last until 20th December and have 19 sittings. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi addressed media persons ahead of the session, stressing that this parliamentary session is special in many ways, with the most significant aspect being the 75th anniversary of the Constitution. He also launched a sharp critique of opposition parties, accusing them of resorting to disruptive tactics in Parliament.
सबसे ज्यादा पीड़ा की बात यह है कि जो नए सांसद होते हैं, नए विचार, नई ऊर्जा लेकर के आते हैं, और ये किसी एक दल में नहीं, सभी दल में आते हैं, उनके अधिकारों को कुछ लोग दबोच देते हैं। सदन में बोलने का उनको अवसर तक नहीं मिलता है। लोकतांत्रिक परंपरा में हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे।
The Prime Minister urged opposition members to allow Parliament to function smoothly, and he hoped that time in Parliament can be utilized to further enhance India's global reputation and prestige.
मैं आशा करता हूं कि ये सत्र बहुत ही परिणामकारी हो, संविधान के 75वें वर्ष की शान को बढ़ाने वाला हो, भारत की वैश्विक गरिमा को बल देने वाला हो, नए सांसदों को अवसर देने वाला हो, नए विचारों का स्वागत करने वाला हो। इसी भावना के साथ मैं फिर एक बार सभी माननीय सांसदों को उमंग और उत्साह के साथ इस सत्र को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए निमंत्रित करता हूं, स्वागत करता हूं।
Ahead of the Constitution Day to be observed on Tuesday, the Speaker of India's lower house of Parliament, Om Birla, has said that all democratic institutions in the country have been working according to the Constitution and will continue to do so. He said the Constitution should be kept away from politics.
संविधान में परिवर्तनशीलता संविधान बनाने वालों ने हमेशा मूल भावना रखी। उस समय परिस्थितियों के अनुसार, जनता की अपेक्षा आकांक्षाओं के अनुसार, जनता के अधिकार और पारदर्शिता के लिए भी, समाज में सामाजिक परिवर्तन के लिए भी समय समय पर संविधान में परिवर्तन हुए हैं। लेकिन किसी भी राजनीतिक दल ने, किसी भी सरकार ने संविधान की मूल भावनाओं से हस्तक्षेप नहीं किया, छेड़खानी नहीं की। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने समय समय पर देश और राष्ट्र को हमेशा कहा है कि समाज के वंचित, गरीब, पिछड़े लोगों को आज भी सामाजिक आरक्षण की आवश्यकता है और इसीलिए उनको सामाजिक आरक्षण के साथ उनके जीवन के अंदर समृद्धि आए, उनके जीवन में सामाजिक परिवर्तन हो, उसके लिए संविधान के मूल दर्शन में सरकार काम करती है।
India's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju called for nationwide unity in honouring the Indian Constitution and its framers, emphasising that the occasion transcends party lines. India will celebrate its Constitution Day on 26 November.
हमारा संविधान 26 नवंबर 1949 में एडॉप्ट हुआ। उसके बाद हमारा देश को एक सक्सेसफुल डेमोक्रेसी, ए वाइब्रेंट पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी के रूप में कायम किया है। अगर यह संविधान इस रूप में नहीं मिलते तो भारत देश आज पूरा दुनिया में लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी, मोस्ट वाइब्रेंट डेमोक्रेसी, ए सक्सेसफुल डेमोक्रेसी, सब अलग अलग तरीके से भारत के जो डेमोक्रेटिक सेटअप, हमारे सिस्टम प्रोसेस को सराहना करते हैं। ये क्रेडिट जाता है पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया में, जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में, जो उस समय जो लोग फाउंडिंग फादर्स हैं, मेकर्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, सब लोग का योगदान है।
All right, now take a look at what else is making news in India. The Indian Coast Guard is set to host the largest ever national maritime search and rescue exercises and workshop at Kochi in India's the southern state of Kerala from November 27. The event focuses on mass rescue operations along with fostering ties with international partners. At a Business Advisory Committee meeting on Monday, India's Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla urged the House members to follow the highest traditions of debate and dialogue in the House. The Speaker referred to 75 years of adoption of the Constitution and recalled the glorious traditions of high-quality debates in the Constituent Assembly. India's Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying will celebrate National Milk Day on 26 November in New Delhi. The event honours the 103rd birth anniversary of Dr. Varghese Kurian, fondly remembered as the father of the White Revolution in India. And still to come on DD India Live. Countries remain divided as the 5th UN Plastics Treaty talks begin. And Uruguay's centre-left opposition candidate Yemandu Ori secures victory in the presidential election.
He's an author, a thinker, and a scholar of international relations. Why are these 7 friends of India and why not the others?
They are partners, but they are very strategic partners. If you want to stretch the friends analogy, they are best friends or maybe best friends forever for India. All the elements we have to be an equal of China and of the United States. We have the population, we have the size, we have the geopolitical location in the heart of the Indian Ocean region.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. India's cooperative movement is making global waves. PM Modi's vision of Sehkar Se Samriddhi is a mission statement for the world. India's Cooperation Minister Amit Shah, in an article to Daily, highlighted how administrative and policy reforms have rejuvenated the cooperative sector. With more than 60 reforms empowering millions, cooperatives are driving inclusive growth, sustainability and global collaboration. Transformative potential of cooperatives. The cooperative sector is a powerful tool for economic upliftment, integrating economically marginalized individuals into the mainstream economy. India has a rich history of cooperatives which played a significant role in economic development before independence. This sector was revitalized under Prime Minister Modi's leadership. In 2022, the Indian government made a landmark decision establishing a dedicated ministry to promote cooperation at the national level. India is hosting the International Cooperative Alliance General Assembly and Global Cooperative Conference for the first time in its 130-year history. The cooperative sector addresses systemic backwardness and marginalization, promoting inclusive growth through job creation and rural economic development. Under PM Modi's leadership, over 60 initiatives have been introduced to revitalize the cooperative sector, including financial support for primary agricultural cooperative societies. Initiatives such as National Cooperative Policy aim to streamline operations. Organizations such as Bharatiya Beej Sehkari Samiti Limited support farmers with high-quality seeds, organic certification and market access. India's cooperative model, deeply rooted in ancient economic practices, can serve as an inspiration globally, especially for countries with large populations. The upcoming ICA event serves as a global platform for showcasing India's cooperative achievements, promoting sustainable development goals and fostering economic inclusivity. On the heels of contentious climate talks in Azerbaijan, negotiators from around the globe descended on Busan in South Korea from Monday with another formidable goal: to hammer out the world's first treaty designed to tackle plastic pollution's explosive growth. The talks began on Monday, but lingering divisions have cast doubts on whether a final agreement is in sight. Uruguay's centre-left opposition candidate Yamandú Ori secured victory in the presidential election with 99% of votes tallied in a second-round race. Yamandú Ori secured a small but comfortable margin of 49.81% of the vote to conservative Alvaro Delgado's 45.9%. Ori addressed thousands of his Broad Front Party supporters in Montevideo after the results. Both Delgado and Uruguay's president, fellow National Party member Luis Lacalle Pou, conceded the election, swiftly congratulating Orsi and offering to help with the transition after results signaled a victory for the centre-left. Orsi, Delgado and Lacalle Pou all expressed goodwill for their political opposition and pledged to work together to move the country forward. Now, COP29 is over, but where is climate diplomacy headed? What role, if any, does Germany play in the future of climate negotiations? DW's Warda Imran joins us from Berlin. Warda, how is Germany reacting to the $300 billion commitment made at the end of COP29?
Thanks for having me. Well, this year's COP climate talks wasn't business as usual for Germany. Following the collapse of the ruling coalition here, Chancellor Olaf Scholz bowed out from the summit and was absent in Baku from the climate negotiations. But Germany has, in recent times, ramped up their commitments to slash greenhouse gas emissions. At this climate summit, Germany did reinforce its dedication to climate policy, but had an overall very cautious approach when talking about finance. Comments on this topic have come mostly from the Green Party. Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock pointed out that while Europe has to live up to its responsibility, and by this she means responsibility of historic emissions in the last 80 years or even longer, so Europe definitely has a global responsibility because of emissions. But the foreign minister cautioned against making promises Europe can't keep. And this notion has been repeated many times over. This promise of $300 billion by advanced countries for developing countries echoes the promise made of $100 billion in climate financing by advanced countries that was meant to start in 2020, but was actually realized for the first time just this year. So the reaction from Germany has been a bit cautious.
Also, whether the EU's long history of CO2 emissions puts it in a unique place of responsibility. Will it come through in terms of funding?
Yes, well, this is the big question, and one that creates a lot of confusion as well. Let's talk about emissions. The EU is one of the top contributors historically for greenhouse gas emissions, coming second only after the US. So these two areas, the US and the EU, carry more responsibility for historic emissions than China or India or Russia or even Japan. And the people suffering because of these emissions are from vulnerable islands that are on the forefront of floods and rising seas. And they appear to be really unhappy in Baku. And this is because developing countries openly said $300 billion is not enough. The cost now goes into the trillions. India's negotiator Chandni Rai called the deal an optical illusion. Many shared similar comments as well, saying this deal was more so for saving face than anything else. But the second part of your question about funding, that's a big question mark, because there are promises made at conferences such as this one, but it's years before they're ever actualized, and by then it might be a bit late. As COP wraps up, talks begin in South Korea on how to curb plastic pollution. But the discussions there have also been plagued by severe divisions.
Vardha, thank you. Vardha Imran reporting there from Berlin. To sports news now, India's fast bowlers Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj took 3 wickets apiece as the tourists hammered Australia by 295 runs in the first test at Perth on Monday. Australia were bowled out for 238 runs after tea on day 4. Paceman Harshit Rana wrapped up Australia's innings to secure India's 1-0 lead in the 5-match series. Earlier, India set a massive target of 534 runs for the hosts to chase after centuries from Virat Kohli and Yashasvi Jaiswal. Australia's batting failed, barring Travis Head, who made a gritty 89, while Mitchell Marsh chipped in with 47. India captain Bumrah claimed 8 wickets in the match to lead India to a thumping win. The second test begins in Adelaide on 6th December. India have held the Border Gavaskar Trophy since 2016-17. The Physical Education Foundation of India organized 7th Pethi National Awards in New Delhi under the aegis of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, recognizing and honoring outstanding contributions and achievements in the field of physical education, sports and fitness in India.
With an aim to honor and recognize excellence in physical education, coaching and research honors to Indian teachers, Physical Education Foundation of India organized its 7th PEFI National Awards in the national capital. Around 29 professionals were awarded, whose services have been noteworthy and have performed outstandingly in their respective specialization throughout the year, through categories such as Lifetime Achievement in Physical Education, Best Physical Education Teacher and Best Yoga Teacher.
PEFI Awards always provides a platform to recognize the physical education teachers, because as such we don't have any such platform in which physical education teachers can be rewarded at a national level. So it's a source of inspiration and motivation for the physical education teachers to push themselves more harder.
Indian wrestler Chirag Chikara was awarded the Emerging Sportsperson of the Year award. Joint Secretary of Sports Development of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Kunal, graced the occasion as the chief guest, along with Khelo India's high performance manager Yashpal Solanki.
इस नेशनल अवार्ड के द्वारा जो पूरे देश में फिजिकल एजुकेशन और स्पोर्ट्स के क्षेत्र में इन्होंने जो काम कर रहे हैं उनको रिकॉग्नाइज किया है, उसके लिए मैं कहूँगा पेफी बहुत ही बधाई के पात्र है। अगर हमको भारत को 36 में ओलंपिक होस्ट करने का प्लान बना रहे हैं, उसमें हमारा ये भी प्रयास है कि भारत मेडल टैली में टॉप 10 में आए, तो स्कूलों की बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहेगी कि आज उस जमाने में जो भी मेडलिस्ट रहेंगे, आपके सानिध्य में जो बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं वो जरूरी रहेंगे।
With the objective to work for betterment of teachers and to recognize physical education teachers who play a key role in shaping athletes' career, PEFI was formed.
किसी भी खेल के लिए किसी भी खिलाड़ी को बनाने में सबसे पहले यदि कोई भूमिका निभाता है तो फिजिकल एजुकेशन टीचर निभाता है। फिजिकल एजुकेशन टीचर्स को जब हमने पैफी बनाई तो अब हमने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि इस फिजिकल एजुकेशन टीचर्स को भी कोई सम्मान नहीं मिलता है, तो क्यों ना हम इनको सम्मान देने की परिपाटी शुरू करें। तो उसी परिपाटी में हमने पैफी अवार्ड्स की संरचना की। भारत सरकार ने 2019 में पैफी को राष्ट्रीय खेल प्रोत्साहन संस्था का दर्जा दिया और हमारे कार्यों को सराहा, और आज भारत सरकार हमारे हर कार्यक्रम में साथ में मिलकर खेल मंत्रालय के साथ हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं।
PEFI's tireless efforts are pivotal in shaping a healthier and sports-oriented nation, empowering Indians to embrace a vibrant and energetic lifestyle. Abhishek Prasad's report, DD India.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can, for those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and around the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. All of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.